Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the MetaStellar YouTube channel. I'm Maria KOROLOV. I'm the editor here at MetaStellar, and I am near death. So before I go and throw myself into a hot bath full of chicken soup, I'm going to go quickly through today's 10 top best-selling free fantasy and science fiction books on Amazon. And then I'm going to go and curl up with one of those books and stay curled up with it all weekend. And hopefully by next week, this cold will be over. Let's get started and go through it really, really quick. Okay, so number 10 on our list is Beyond the Veil by Nicole Taylor. It's a box set of like 5 books. Each book is the first book in a series. So if you want to get to know this author, this is a good way to check out the beginnings of 5 different series. And the other books are not on Kindle Unlimited, so you have to pay for them. So they're usually $4 a book or so. But if you like this author, check it out. So the first book, Crescent Calling, starts with the last Crescent Witch, whose job is to protect the last whisper of magic from the darkness. And her boyfriend, who was supposed to propose to her, dumped her. She got laid off of work. She left Melbourne to drive home to the small town of Ocean Grove. And then she finds out that she actually has to go to Ireland because her mom left her a house and some money in that country. So she'll leave Australia and go to Ireland. I was really hoping it was going to be a small town Australia kind of story because I haven't seen those in a while. But no, it's a small town Ireland story. But never fear, there is a small town in Australia story further down on this list, or further up on this list, since we're starting at number 10. All right, let's get to the next book. It's Spotted Her First by Emma Dean. It's a standalone paranormal romance. And the author has several books up on Amazon, all of them in Kindle Unlimited. So if you like this author, plenty more reading for you. Kindle Unlimited, by the way, you pay $10 a month and you read all the books you want. And a lot of books are in Kindle Unlimited, including a lot of bestsellers, all the Harry Potter books. It's a great deal. It's like the Netflix for books. So this book is a reverse harem romance, which means that the woman gets all the guys. She doesn't have to choose between them. I can see with the appeal of that fantasy, but also it sounds like way too much work. But you might like it. So Piper works the night shift at a library because it's nice and quiet. She's taken a DNA test, and she's a descendant of Cleopatra. So she's obsessed with history, and her PhD is in ancient history, and so she loves the library and working there. And then these 3 guys show up one Friday night when the library is mostly empty, and they're like super sexy. The voices are sexy. They move in a sexy way. They're like sexiness is all over the place, and they go after her. And so she slams one of them with a book and kicks the other one in the balls and throws a bunch of other books at the third guy. She runs out of the library. There's a guard there. She hides behind the guard, and before she realizes that there's something weird and off about this guard, and the guard tries to grab her, and she keeps running out of the library. Her dad's out there already. Her dad's a cop. She's called him when at the first sign of trouble, and before she can get to her dad, that creepy guard teleports over to where she is, grabs her, and teleports away. So there's going to be sexy times coming because those 3 guys were super sexy. And as they were trying to catch her, they kept telling her, "We're on your side. Don't run from us. We're the good guys." And she was like, "Yeah, right." And she was kneeing them in the balls. So I kind of like that part of it. But anyway, so it's a very, very cheesy book, but it looks like it would be a really, really fun read. All right, next we have Earl Hathbury's Vessel by S. Rodman, the second of 3 books in the Duty and Magic gay paranormal romance series. The first book is $4, and the third book is currently available for pre-order and will be coming out later this month. The entire series is in Kindle Unlimited. So I was a little creeped out by this because the main character in this book is basically a sexual slave. He's been kept by this Earl, who's been beating him and having sex with him and draining him of his magic every week. And at the beginning of this book, he escapes and winds up with another guy with a new master who's at least younger and more handsome, but it looks like he's going to be in for more of the same. So that creeps me out a little bit. And also that first guy, his first master, he grew up, his parents were servants on that guy's estate, and he grew up there. And his parents sold him off to the Earl when he turned 18 for the money. And also that his first master, he may have actually been his dad. So super creepy all around. The book is readable, and the main character, Charlie, is very sympathetic in a beaten down, PTSD having kind of way. But it's a little depressing for me. I would not stick with it. But the next book, oh yeah, this is the book I'm going to be reading this weekend. Hangry as Hell by Ward Parker. The 9th of 9 books in the Freaky Florida Cozy Paranormal Mystery Series. The other books are $3 to $4 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. Oh no, what shall I do? But Ward Parker is one of my favorite authors. In September, I read his book, A Magic Touch, the first of 8 books in the Memory Guild Cozy Paranormal Mystery Series. And, oh my God. Ooh. Well, all right, so there you go. I'm not faking this cough. So I read The Magic Touch, and then I read like the whole series. It was fun. And that series was in Kindle Unlimited, so that was great. But this series is not. But I do have the first 3 books. They were free. They were free early this year, so I picked them up and reviewed them back then. And you know what? It's not like I'm going to be going out and hitting the bars or anything this weekend. I'm going to take the $20 I would have spent for pizza and spend them on these books because they are fun. So the story here is that Missy is a home health care nurse down in Florida, and she has a little bit of magical powers, which she needs because her customers are vampires, werewolves, and other elderly creatures who live down there in Florida who are also paranormal. And this is in Florida. And so it's kind of it's kind of dangerous to be taking care of them. It's just fun. They're cozy mysteries. They're fun. Now she shows up a few times in the other series. The Memory Guild series with a Magic Touch, and I love all the characters in that book. I love all the storylines. So I'm just going to spend the cash, and this is what I'm going to be reading all weekend because I can use some fun, cozy mysteries. All right, next we have The Half-Blood Dragon by K.N. Lee. First of 7 books in the Dragonborn, Teen Young Adult, Sword and Sorcery Fantasy Series. The other books are $3 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. Mary Stoll read this one. She's one of our community members and our assignment editor. Okay, so the book's about Rowan, a young woman who's half dragon, half human, who lives in Draconia, a land ruled by dragons. And she's a lady in waiting and serves the princess. And she's supposed to be obeying the wishes of her sinister stepfather, the Duke of Harrow. And the Duke wants her to win the heart of a prince, become his princess, and take the crown. And she has a prophetic dream that's a little frightening, and she wants to escape with the help of her best friend, Brea, who's highborn and fully dragon and can disappear at will. So a lot of stuff happening here quickly. It's a well-written book. The first few chapters moved quickly. She said the characters are engaging and well-developed. It's a short book. It's just 172 pages. Interesting story. So she plans to stick with it and finish it this weekend, and says it's a good read for Game of Thrones fans. Next, we have Outback Spirit. This is the book I mentioned earlier that's set in small town Australia. It's by Nicole Taylor, the first of 5 books in an Australian Supernatural Origins urban fantasy series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. And she's been on this list before several times, so very popular author. And I can see why. The book is definitely engaging and very readable. Aleese is traveling through Australia in a motorhome, and it breaks down outside of a small town in the middle of nowhere. She gets the engine started just enough to get to the town, and the local mechanic tells her it's going to be a few weeks and a couple of $1,000s before they can fix it, because she's blown a head gasket. I sympathize. I've blown head gaskets before. And so while she's like figuring out what she's going to be doing in this town, she meets a few people, and this is a magical town. There's weird stuff happening. It's unclear exactly what. There's opal mining going on just outside of town, and some of the residents may be elementals. Something about them being able to sense maybe where the opals are. And the local shopkeeper is a witch who wants to read her fortune, but Eloise doesn't want anybody to touch her, but because when people touch her, they start hating her. And the reason she's been traveling around Australia is because she's on a quest to figure out who or what she is. So very cool premise, interesting people, and very readable book, and an unusual setting. So I don't think I've read any books set in small town Australia. And you do get that local flavor here, and a little bit about Indigenous Australian culture as well. So very cool. I recommend it. All right, next we have Twist and Turns by W.J. May. The first of 4 books in the Feywild's coming of age fantasy series. The other books are $4 each. They're not in Kindle Unlimited. And the author has been on this list before a couple of times. It's a coming-of-age book. I hate coming-of-age books. I hate young people. And the main character wakes up without a memory and in a silky dress with a purse full of money and red coins in the fairy realm. She's a fairy. And she walks to the local town, goes to a bar, and gets drunk with some locals because she can't say no, and almost gets raped by them. And I'm not I feel really sorry for this woman. She has no sense of how to set limits and boundaries, and how to tell people no, and how to like manage herself in a crowd or anything. I feel kind of sorry for her, but I don't want to read this book. It's too annoying. But I do have to say that the writing itself is very readable, and the setting is very vivid. Like, who is she? Why was she knocked unconscious? Why'd she lose her memory? What's this creepy town all about? I mean, there's stuff in there to keep you going. Next, we have Blood on the Floor by Aleese Hughes, the first of 2 books in the Inspector Mage romantic fantasy series. The sequel is $4 and will be coming out in December. And the first book is in Kindle Unlimited, so the sequel might be as well. So Carla Nordlund, one of our editors, read this, and she says that the book is set in Osera, and in a setting that feels like the Roaring 20s meets steampunk. And there's a serial killer on the loose, and she says she's really enjoying this mashup, and she thinks it's a fast-paced, exciting read. But thrillers and serial killers are not her thing. She'd like to be able to sleep at night, so she probably won't be sticking with this book. I can sympathize with that. I'm scared too easily as well. All right, The Mages of Starsea by Kyle West. The first of 8 books in the Starsea cycle space opera science fiction series. The other books are $5 each, and they're not in Kindle Unlimited. So it's a mix of sci-fi, space opera, and fantasy. So Alex KOROLOV, who read this, he's one of our editors. He says it could appeal to a lot of readers. There's space travel, futuristic technology, and magic all in there. Lucien's a young man of 20 who's just tested positive for metaphysical emergence. So he's a mage, but that's not a good thing in this world. So 50 years ago, the Starsea mages left billions dead in a mad quest for domination. And these days, if you're found out to be a mage, you have to either go to a special academy in another world or be forced to live on a mage prison world. And Lucien doesn't know what he's going to do. Alex says he read the first 5 chapters and he is hooked. He likes the combination of fantasy and sci-fi, and he plans to keep reading. And finally, we have Out of the Shadows by Vincent Valentean, who's a frequent flyer on this list. So this is a standalone book of EMP survival. And basically EMP is electromagnetic pulse suddenly wipes out all electrical devices. That's lights, cell phones, modern cars, all that stuff. And then people have to deal with the consequences. So a lot of people like this genre for unknown reasons, unknown to me, but I guess known to them. And here Carolyn and her son Eric are at a football game in New York City when the EMP hits, and Carolyn's husband Sam, who used to be in the NYPD, is at the family's upstate farm in upstate New York. And Alex says that he read the first couple chapters, and he's not going to keep going. He says he doesn't feel like it stood out from all the other EMP books he's reviewed. So I guess he's all EMP'd out. So if you like EMP books and you would like to help us review them, and you know what makes them great, please drop me a line. I'm my email is in the description box below, as is all our other information. Also a link to our first anthology, which is out, which you can buy from all major retailers. And please support us on Patreon and subscribe. Thanks, Patreon folks. We love you. We wouldn't exist without you. And our fall submission cycle ended on October 31st. And now we have several hundred, close to 600 submissions came in. And we're going to be picking the best ones and publishing them over the course of the next few months. So stay tuned for those pieces of original fiction, which are paid for thanks to these guys. You rock. All right, I am going to go and cocoon myself for the next 3 days. And I'll see you guys next Friday when I hope I'll be better. Bye-bye.